For today's video, we'll be taking a look at the new high-end mini PC offering from Beelink, the GTi15 Ultra. Powered by Intel's high-end Arrow Lake Core Ultra 9 285H mobile processor, the GTi15 Ultra is the successor to the GTi14 Ultra, which is powered by Intel's previous generation Meteor Lake Core Ultra 9 185H mobile processor. And like its predecessor before it, the GTi15 Ultra comes equipped with an interesting feature, that is, a built-in PCIe slot like so, that allows you to use it in conjunction with an optional Beelink EX Pro docking station, like the one that I have right in front of me. As you can see, the docking station allows you to use a full-size graphics card in conjunction with the GTi15 Ultra, which is pretty interesting. Let's take a closer look at the specs of this mini PC and put it through some benchmarks so as to see how it will perform. Let's get started. In terms of packaging, we've got a pretty minimalistic aesthetic with a white box that features an image of the GTi15 Ultra splashed across the front and an image of a PCIe slot on one side of the box that's in reference to the fact that the GTi15 Ultra can be used with an optional Beelink EX Pro docking station. Here's a quick look at the specs of the GTi15 Ultra review unit that I was sent for this video. As mentioned earlier, the GTi15 Ultra is powered by an Intel Core Ultra 9 285H mobile processor, which is a 16-core part with 6 P-cores that have a max turbo frequency of up to 5.4 GHz, 8 E-cores that have a max turbo frequency of up to 4.5 GHz, and 2 low-power E-cores with a max turbo frequency of up to 2.5 GHz. The processor also comes with integrated graphics, that is, Intel's Arc 140T that features 8 Xe graphics cores. The PC also comes with 2 DDR5 SO-DIMM slots that support up to DDR5 6400 speeds, and as you can see on the screen, you have the option of purchasing the GTi15 Ultra with up to 96GB of DDR5 5600 RAM. Storage-wise, we get either a 1TB Crucial E100 SSD pre-installed with the 64GB RAM variant of the GTi15 Ultra and a 2TB Crucial SSD with the 96GB RAM variant of the GTi15 Ultra. Audio is powered by a Realtek ALC897 audio codec, while for your internet connectivity needs, we've got an Intel BE200 WIFI7 module that supports the 320MHz channel width and also comes with built-in Bluetooth 5.4 support, as well as dual 10 Gigabit Ethernet ports courtesy of 2 Intel E610 XT2 10 Gigabit Ethernet controllers. The power supply for the mini PC is built in within the case, where it serves up 145 watts of power, and hence there's no need for an external power brick. We do also get the following I/O ports with the GTi15 Ultra. I'll run through the mini PC's connectivity in detail later on in this video. And with that, let's take a look at the contents of the box. With the lid out of the way, we've got the GTi15 Ultra right here. Setting it aside for the moment, we catch a glimpse of the instruction manual that's found right beneath it. Is this bit of the box removable? Yeah, I think not. We've got a divider here that has hello printed on it, which is nice. And next up is a card that has some advisory information on it not to obstruct the mini PC's microphone openings, and over on the rear, instructions on how to engage the mini PC's clear CMOS button that's hidden in the rear 3.5mm audio jack. We also get a power cable like so. And to round things off, a HDMI cable. Taking a closer look at the GTi15 Ultra, it's bigger than the typical mini PCs on the market with the dimensions that you can see on the screen. It has a very clean aesthetic thanks to its predominantly metal construction, where we do get some plastic bits over on the rear like so, as well as for the bottom lid. The front and rear panel is pretty straightforward. We get your usual array of connectivity options, and over on the front, we get these 4 round openings that are openings for the GTi 15 Ultra's built-in microphone array. As can be seen, we don't get any openings on the left and right sides of the GTi 15 Ultra, and over on the top panel, we get a Beelink logo. Over on the bottom of the mini PC, we get lots of little round ventilation openings and 2 raised rubber strips that serve as feet for the GTi 15 Ultra. Also visible are 4 round rubber covers which obscure the screws that hold the bottom lid in place, as well as a long rubber strip that covers the mini PC's proprietary PCIe 5.0 X8 slot that's to be used with the Beelink EX Pro docking station. More on this later on in this video review. In terms of front I/O, we get a USB 10Gbps Type A port, a SD card slot, a USB 10Gbps Type C port, a 3.5mm audio jack, a white colored power LED, as well as a power button that also doubles up as a fingerprint sensor. Over on the rear, the GTi 15 Ultra comes with a port for the included power cable, a USB 4 Type C port that supports DisplayPort 1.4 video output and power delivery, a 3.5mm audio output jack that also doubles up as a clear CMOS button, a HDMI port, a DisplayPort 1.4a port, dual 10 Gigabit Ethernet ports, as well as 2 USB 10Gbps Type A ports. Service access with the GTi 15 Ultra's a little tricky, where gaining access to the inside involves removing 4 round rubber screw hole covers on the bottom lid and undoing the said screws. Once done, Beelink's included a tab right here that allows you to lift off the lid easily. With that done, we now have to undo 4 screws that hold down this dust filter plate. Dust filter plate removed, you then have to undo 4 screws that hold the speaker module in place as it gets in the way of the removal of the power supply unit located right next to it. With the speaker module shifted out of the way, we can then undo the 4 screws that hold the power supply unit in place. Finally, we've got a heatsink plate for the M.2 drives that's held in place by screws and a standoff that's a little bit tricky to undo if you don't have a standoff removal tool on hand, like the one that I'm using. And with that finally out of the way, we get access to the dual DDR5 SO-DIMM slots and the dual PCIe 4.0 X4 M.2 slots that the GTi 15 Ultra comes with. Right here are the 2 DDR5 SO-DIMM slots that the mini PC comes with. For this review, Beelink sent over the 64GB DDR5 variant of the GTi15 Ultra, where correspondingly we get two crucial 32GB DDR5 5600 SO-DIMM modules for a total of 64GB of RAM. As of the time of publishing this review, we get support for a maximum of 128GB of RAM and the DDR5 6400 standard. To the right of the RAM slots are the two PCIe 4.0x4 M.2 slots that the mini PC comes with, of which this slot here is populated by the pre-installed crucial E100 1TB NVMe SSD that comes with the 64GB DDR5 variant of the GTi15 Ultra as standard. According to Crucial's spec sheet, the E100 has read speeds of up to 5000 MB per second and write speeds of up to 4500 MB per second. The other M.2 slot, which is a PCIe 4.0x4 slot, is empty and available for you to install a second drive where needed. While we're still on the topic of M.2 slots, the Intel BE200 WIFI7 module can be found beneath the second PCIe 4.0x4 M.2 slot, where it utilizes the M.2 KeyE form factor. This means that in future, you can swap out the module for something newer, say a Wi-Fi 8 module when they're released. Finally, it's worth pointing out that the GTi15 Ultra utilizes a standard CR2032 CMOS battery that's located right here. And with that, here's a recap on the specs of the GTi15 Ultra, where it's pretty much a PC that's ready to go out of the box with Windows 11 Pro pre-installed. In terms of preloaded software, the GTi15 Ultra does come with some pre-installed apps, the Wondershare stuff that you see on the desktop. We also do get a Beelink Control Center app. Upon opening the app, we see that it has a camera tab, which I'm guessing allows you to tweak the video output from your webcam if you have one hooked up to the mini PC, a display tab that allows you to tweak display settings such as color, brightness, and so on, as well as a performance tab. The PC comes with the performance mode selected by default, and that's the mode that I'll be sticking with for benchmarking purposes. Over in the BIOS, for the purposes of benchmarking, I've set the processor TDP setting to the maximum permissible setting of 65 watts so that we can get the most out of the Core Ultra 285H processor. On a side note, it's worth noting that the processor C state was set to disabled for some reason, so I enabled it and got started with the benchmarks. In case you're wondering, C states refer to the power saving states of the processor, and it allows it to reduce energy consumption where needed, for instance, say when the PC is idle. To put the GTi15 Ultra through its paces, I'll first be testing it without the EX Pro dock and an external graphics card. To kick things off, I'll be running 7-zips compression and decompression test, Cinebench 2024, Cinebench R23, and Geekbench 6.5 so as to test the productivity performance of the Core Ultra 9 285H processor. I'll also be running Geekbench AI so as to get a sensing of the processor's AI chops. Thereafter, to get a sensing on gaming performance, I'll be running the in-game benchmark tests of Black Myth Wukong, Cyberpunk 2077, F1 23, as well as Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 1080p. Finally, I'll also be running CrystalDiskMark so as to check on the performance of the included crucial E100 M.2 SSD. Let's get started. Next up, let's take a look at thermals and power draw. The following results were obtained via Hardware Info 64's sensor readouts while running F123's in-game benchmark for around 9 minutes in a non-air conditioned room with an ambient temperature of around 29.7 degrees Celsius. As can be seen from the results on the screen, the Core Ultra 9 285H processor achieved an average CPU package temperature of 78.9 degrees Celsius, where it hit a maximum temperature of 89 degrees Celsius during benchmarking. CPU package power draw was around 51 watts during the benchmark, with a maximum power draw of 56 watts. While running Cinebench 2024's multi-core test, the Core Ultra 9 285H processor achieved an average CPU package temperature of 89 degrees Celsius, where it hit a maximum temperature of 93 degrees Celsius during benchmarking. CPU package power draw was around 64.3 watts on average during the benchmark, with a maximum power draw figure of 65 watts. The idle, thermal and power draw figures are as per what you see on the screen. The Core Ultra 9 285H had an average idle temperature of 67.7 degrees Celsius while drawing an average of 14.9 watts of power when idle, which are both kind of on the higher side of things. I can't be sure what's going on with the higher than usual idle temperatures. I'm guessing this could be something to do with the fact that the power supply is contained within the chassis of the GTi15 Ultra, where the heat generated from the power supply contributes to the internal heat levels of the mini PC. Your guess is as good as mine. A brief note on acoustics. The GTi15 Ultra was really quiet when under load. I think it's possibly one of the quietest mini PCs under load that I've tested. In a room with around 47 decibels of ambient noise levels, my decibel meter recorded approximately 47.2 decibels of noise when the mini PC was idle, and around 47.9 decibels of noise when under a typical gaming workload, which is pretty impressive. I think it's safe to say that the MSI 2.0 cooling system that Beelink has used for the GTi15 Ultra is pretty good at what it's supposed to do.
On that note, the performance of the built-in stereo speakers is fine, I suppose. Don't expect too much out of them, as they are after all integrated speakers and they do sound a little bit tinny. For the built-in microphone, I've actually recorded this segment on audio performance using the mini PC's built-in microphone, so you can be the judge of its audio quality.
Seeing as the GTi15 Ultra does have AI PC in its name, it'd be remiss of me not to go through some of its features that I guess make it particularly well suited for AI tasks. Given the GTi15 Ultra's specifications, plus the fact that it can be paired with a desktop GPU via the Beelink EX Pro dock, the GTi15 Ultra can be a pretty competent AI box, I'd say, especially if you're intending to run AI models locally. Also, Beelink touts the GTi15 Ultra's built-in microphone array as one of its selling points, so as AI voice interaction features become more developed with platforms such as ChatGPT. Please describe to me what a graphics processing unit is. I guess this mini PC will be very ready for use with such voice interaction features. Now, I also wanted to spend some time benchmarking the GTi15 Ultra with the Beelink EX Pro dock, just to see how much gaming performance we can eke out of the GTi15 Ultra when we pair it with a modern desktop graphics card. A quick lowdown on the EX Pro dock. It comes with a built-in 600-watt power supply, which means that it should support pretty high-end GPUs such as the GeForce RTX 4090, though Beelink doesn't explicitly mention support for it. The dock also comes with an additional PCIe 4.0 X1 M.2 slot that can be used to install an additional M.2 NVMe drive, or if you like, you can swap out the M.2 drive slot module for M.2 Wi-Fi slot module instead, which comes included with the dock, and this explains why we get these two Wi-Fi antenna connectors right here. Power-wise, we get two 8-pin PCIe power connectors for a graphics card, and also a USB 2.0 port right here, along with a 4-pin fan power connector should you choose to place a case fan nearby to cool the entire setup. The EX Pro dock offers PCIe 5.0 X8 connectivity, and installing the GTi 15 Ultra on the dock is just a simple matter of removing the rubber strip covering the connector from the bottom of the GTi 15 Ultra and installing it onto the dock like so. For the benchmarks with the EX Pro dock, I'll be using a MSI GeForce RTX 5060 Ti 16GB Gaming Trio OC graphics card with the same suite of 4 gaming benchmarks at 1440p resolution instead, just to see how this combination is going to fare from a gaming perspective. Let's get started. Right, so to sum up, I do think that the Beelink GTi15 Ultra mini PC is a pretty solid offering, where it should perform pretty well from a productivity standpoint, all thanks to its Core Ultra 9 285H mobile processor. Its integrated ARC140T iGPU is pretty decent as well, I suppose, where it can be used to game at somewhat passable frame rates at the 1080p resolution. And of course, if you're willing to use upscaling wizardry such as XeSS for instance, you should be able to squeeze out more performance from the GTi 15 Ultra in terms of gaming. Pair it together with the EX Pro dock and a good graphics card, and you have on hand a very competent AI and gaming PC. With the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB and Core Ultra 9 285H combo, the FPS results that I obtained were actually not too far off from when I first tested the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB at launch together with an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D processor, at least for the 4 games that I used in this review. Build quality is pretty good on the whole, where the GTi 15 Ultra does feel premium, all thanks to its predominantly metal construction. In terms of thermal performance, it performs commendably well. The Core Ultra 9 285H mobile processor manages to keep under 100 degrees Celsius when under a productivity or gaming workload, at least with the benchmarks that I ran with this mini PC, and it's all the more impressive when you consider how quiet it was under load. Now, some misses to mention, the GTi 15 Ultra does run warm when idle. In fact, even when it's powered off, the mini PC remains warm to the touch as long as you've got it plugged into the mains with the power socket switched on. I think that this is probably likely because of the fact that we have the power supply mounted within the chassis of the mini PC. Also, getting access to the motherboard for service access purposes was not easy at all, given the number of screws and bits and bobs that you'll have to remove so as to get to, say, the RAM slots or the M.2 slots. As of the time of publishing this video, the GTi 15 Ultra that I have here, which comes equipped with a 1TB SSD as well as 64GB of DDR5 RAM, is available to purchase from Beelink's website for a price of $1,249 US. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.